Lexie Natasha tweeted and was just saying a bunch about pride and how proud she was of this team. Have you kind of had similar emotions the last couple of days, and how do you balance that with a very painful ending to the season?
Yeah, I mean,
Nobody in the WNBA saw it coming. A player who had spent her first 2 seasons barely holding on to her roster spot, second-guessing every shot and quietly wondering if each game might be her last, suddenly transformed. Lexie Hull didn't just survive a turning point in women's basketball, she became one of its most compelling stories. And after years of playing alongside Caitlin Clark, she's finally opened up about what that experience truly felt like. Not the polished version, but the reality behind it. To understand that transformation, you have to look at where Hull started. Drafted 6th overall by the Indiana Fever in 2022, she came in with elite credentials. A national champion from Stanford, a 3-time All-Pac-12 selection, and a standout both athletically and academically, she seemed destined for success. But the reality was far different. The Fever were struggling, near the bottom of the league, missing playoffs, and lacking stability. For a young player, that environment created constant pressure. Hull wasn't playing freely, she was playing cautiously, afraid that every mistake could cost her minutes, or even her spot on the team. Her numbers reflected that tension. In her first 2 seasons, she averaged under 5 points per game. Even with extended minutes in her second year, production didn't follow. But the real issue wasn't just skill, it was mental. Hull later admitted that she felt like every shot had to go in, or there could be consequences. That kind of pressure doesn't just affect performance. It changes how a player thinks, moves, and reacts. She wasn't just struggling statistically, she was stuck in a mindset shaped by fear. Everything changed in 2024. The Fever selected Caitlin Clark with the number 1 overall pick, and with her arrival came a complete shift, not just for the team, but for the entire league. Clark entered the WNBA as one of the most hyped players ever, coming off a historic college career where she became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA basketball. The attention followed immediately. Sold-out arenas, national broadcasts, and a level of visibility the league had never experienced before. But beyond the spotlight, the biggest change for Hull happened on the court. Clark's elite vision and playmaking ability transformed the offensive flow. Defenses were forced to collapse around her, creating open looks for teammates. For Hull, that meant something she hadn't experienced before: space, rhythm, and opportunity without pressure. She described the difference in a way that reveals everything. After Clark's arrival, she knew she would get open shots, but she no longer felt consumed by whether they went in or not. That shift, from fear to trust, was everything. It allowed her to play naturally, to rely on her preparation instead of overthinking every possession. The results were undeniable. Hull shot 47.1% from 3-point range in 2024, one of the most efficient marks in the league and a clear jump from her earlier seasons. It wasn't just improvement, it was a reflection of a player finally unlocked. When the system changed, when the pressure lifted, and when the right playmaker entered the picture, Hull's true ability surfaced. Her story isn't just about statistics or one teammate's impact. It's about how environment, confidence, and opportunity can completely reshape a career. What looked like a struggling player on a losing team turned out to be someone waiting for the right conditions to thrive, and once those conditions arrived, everything changed. The transformation in Lexie Hull's career wasn't just happening on the court, it was unfolding off it as well, and that's where the story takes an even more compelling turn. What Hull built with Caitlin Clark quickly became one of the most talked about friendships in women's sports. When Clark first arrived at the Indiana Fever, there were real questions about how she would fit into a locker room full of established relationships. After spending 4 years at Iowa alongside close teammates like Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall, she was stepping into an entirely new environment, this time as the face of the franchise. Instead of friction, what developed was natural chemistry. Clark and Hull connected almost immediately. By the end of that first season, they were spending time together off the court, sharing light-hearted moments on social media, and building a friendship that felt genuine. From TikTok videos to vacations during the WNBA Olympic break, their bond became something fans could see and connect with. It wasn't manufactured, it felt real, and that authenticity made it resonate. Then in 2025, the dynamic evolved again. With the arrival of Sophie Cunningham, the duo became a trio. The three embraced the nickname Trace Leches, and their off-court interactions quickly became some of the most entertaining content around the league. Whether it was playful banter online, appearances together at events, or joking exchanges in interviews, they gave fans a rare glimpse into the personalities behind the athletes. It added a new layer to the WNBA experience, one that blended competition with relatability. Hull's personal life also reflected stability during this time. She got engaged to Will Matson, a former Pittsburgh Pirates draft pick, and confirmed that Clark would be part of her wedding. It was another sign of how close their friendship had become, extending beyond basketball into real life. But alongside the fun and chemistry, there was a more serious side to playing with Clark, and Hull didn't shy away from addressing it. Heading into the 2025 season, she noticed a shift in Clark's demeanor, a stronger focus, a sharper edge, and a clear intent to take control in her second year. Early results backed that up. Hull herself was thriving, putting together the best stretch of her career and leading the league in three-point shooting efficiency. The Fever looked like a team on the rise. Then, adversity hit. Clark dealt with multiple injuries, quad, groin, and other setbacks that disrupted her momentum. One of the most emotional moments came when she had to leave a game against the Connecticut Sun, visibly frustrated and overwhelmed. Sitting beside her on the bench was Hull, offering quiet support in a moment where words didn't matter. It was a powerful image of what their relationship had become, not just teammates, but genuine friends navigating the highs and lows together. Hull later spoke about the mental toll those injuries took on Clark, the frustration, the why me questions, and the challenge of working relentlessly while facing setbacks outside of her control. It revealed a side of Clark that fans don't always see. The pressure, the expectations, and the emotional weight of being the center of attention in the league. Despite all of that, the Fever continued to push forward. Even with Clark limited at times, the team found ways to win, showing resilience and growth. Their run to the WNBA semifinals, where they battled the Las Vegas Aces, was proof that something meaningful had been built, both on and off the court. In the end, this story isn't just about performance or statistics. It's about transformation, trust, and connection. Lexie Hull's rise, Caitlin Clark's impact, and the bond they formed along the way reveal how much environment and relationships can shape success. What started as uncertainty turned into one of the most compelling narratives in the league, one that goes far beyond basketball. The Indiana Fever's playoff run ultimately came down to a deciding Game 5 against the Las Vegas Aces, a game that pushed into overtime before Indiana finally fell. Even in defeat, Lexie Hull proved how valuable she had become. Her impact went far beyond the box score. Night after night, she brought defensive intensity, guarded top perimeter scorers, took charges, and made the kind of hustle plays that keep teams alive in high-pressure moments. But while Hull was helping fuel that deep playoff run, she was also processing something much bigger behind the scenes, something she eventually decided the public needed to hear. That moment came in October 2025, when she was featured in Glamour magazine's Women of the Year issue alongside stars like Nafisa Collier and Satu Sabali. It was a major recognition of her growth, but it was her honesty, not her accolades, that grabbed attention. Hull openly addressed the tension that comes with playing alongside Caitlin Clark. She admitted there is a level of jealousy directed at the Fever because of the massive attention Clark brings, media coverage, fan support, and the spotlight that follows the team everywhere. But she didn't stop there. Hull revealed that this energy isn't just external speculation, it's something the team has heard directly. Opponents come into games against Indiana with extra motivation, treating those matchups like must-win moments. What makes Hull's perspective stand out is how she chose to respond. Instead of frustration or defensiveness, she embraced it. She made it clear that if other teams bring extra intensity, that's part of the game, and something to rise to, not complain about. That mindset reflects a level of maturity that's rare, especially for someone who has lived inside such a high-pressure environment for multiple seasons. Because being part of this version of the Indiana Fever isn't just about basketball. It means constant scrutiny. Every play, every reaction, every moment gets analyzed, debated, and amplified. The presence of Caitlin Clark has elevated the entire league, but it has also placed a spotlight on everyone around her. Hull has experienced that reality from the inside, in a way few others truly understand. When you step back and look at her journey, the transformation is remarkable. She entered the league as a talented but uncertain player on a struggling team, battling pressure and self-doubt. Her role wasn't defined, her confidence was shaken, and the organization itself lacked direction. Then everything changed with Clark's arrival, not just the team's trajectory, but Hull's own mindset. Instead of fading into the background, she stepped forward. Her shooting made her a threat. Her defense made her indispensable. And her honesty, especially in moments like the glamour interview, made her relatable and compelling to fans. She didn't just improve as a player, she evolved into a central figure in one of the most important stories in the WNBA. Now, the focus shifts to what comes next. Hull entered the offseason as a restricted free agent, introducing uncertainty into her future. While she has built a life in Indianapolis, her fiancé relocating to be near her, her connection to the team and fans growing stronger, the business side of the league can change things quickly. The Fever, however, hold the right to match any offer she receives, and given her impact in 2025, there's strong reason to believe they'll want to keep her. Adding to that sense of connection, Clark herself publicly shared a photo of the two of them. Simple, but meaningful. It was another reminder that beyond the spotlight, beyond the pressure, and beyond the narratives, there's a genuine bond that helped shape this entire journey. Lexie Hull's story is no longer about survival. It's about growth, resilience, and stepping into the moment when everything changes around you, and choosing to rise with it.